Hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start some seeds, and I'm going to show you that process. For me, we're going to be putting them in the seed starting station that I built last time, so you'll get to see that. But first of all, before we do anything, as always, why don't you get your wellies, meet me in the garden. So thanks again for joining me. Starting kind of in order of this seed starting, we're going to show you what I use to plant in. Now I'm going to say this Burpee organic seed starting mix, this one does come with some plant food in it and it's organic. That's kind of why it appealed to me. This is about $7 for a bag, fairly big bag. It's 12 quarts. It's readily available in the big box stores. I picked this one up at Walmart and I think it was somewhere around $7 or $8, so not too bad. I've had enough to fill a seed tray, half the size of the ones I'm using now, so that would be about a 10 by 10, and then I've filled another two that are 10 by 20 with a little bit left over in this bag, probably enough to do another half. So I'd say it probably does three 10 by 20s or almost. So the seed mix is kind of mostly coco coir. I've mentioned peat moss before. I have no aversion to using peat moss. Some gardeners are very particular about the environmental effects. That's a whole thing you can study, but I came down with, because they're replacing that at a rate faster than they're taking it, I personally have no issues with using peat moss in my garden at all. Other people do. So you can check that out for yourself though if you want to. So this one is predominantly coco coir. You can buy this in blocks also, and kind of it's sort of messy and a bit laborious to me, but you have to add water, let it soak for a while, break it down. The advantage is it is already soaked through when you've done that, but it almost can be a bit too soggy sometimes. So these trays are 10 by 20s. I filled them up. These are the 72 cell trays, and they're in a unusual alignment so that they look a little different than regular trays. These are supposedly help air prune, stop the roots from kind of circling around in each pod. I like that you can pour water between the pods if you need to. So let me just tell you, I put water in the bottom and let it soak up, and I put in probably a little more than maybe 4 liters between the two trays, so a couple of liters in each one. And you just want to, press your soil and see, is it damp, moist? That's what you're looking for. You don't need it to be wet. First time around, I will spray my seeds with this bottle, so just a regular spray bottle. I'll just go across the surface of these trays to moisten the top of the soil, because sometimes it takes a while for that soil to kind of draw the moisture up. I think the camera's going to pick this up okay, but if you can see this side to the left, it's darker. You can tell that this has already absorbed a fair amount of water. It's not soggy, it's just kind of damp feeling. The other side is still a bit dry, but if I push it down, I can feel that it's damp underneath. You just want to make sure that the goal here is to have it moist, not wet, and you want it to have enough in it that you really don't have to disturb anything for a couple of days, at least, because the seeds are going to be trying to germinate. And if you notice that it's really dry on top, you could go ahead and mist it again with your spray bottle. Misting is the best way because it doesn't really disturb the seeds at all, and you want to give them a chance to put their tap roots down without being disturbed too much. Okay guys, so let me run through the first batch of seeds I've got. I want to show you these varieties. I'm not going to bore you with me planting every single seed. I've done this on multiple videos before, so if you really want to see me planting, you can go back even just a couple of videos. I did hot peppers. Anyway, the first one will be the Amish paste. You'll notice many of these seed packets are from Baker Creek. It is one of my favorite places to buy them. This is a paste tomato, obviously. I really liked this one last year. It did quite well. Produced well. Seemed like it was pretty disease resistant. This one I think I did grow under a shade cloth, so I may, you know, if it starts having trouble with that, too much sun, but the place I'm planning on putting it, I think is, you know, somewhat got some filtered sunlight in the afternoon, so it should be okay. Rutgers is also one you can use for a paste tomato. It's really what it is. You could slice that one, I think, but more of a paste one. So those, of course, are ideal for canning, making pastes and sauces. They don't lend themselves quite as well to slicing as the other varieties I have here. So the other ones that I have two larger ones here. This is Dr. Witchy's, which I've been pretty successful with before, so I'm confident that I can do okay with that. This is the Hillbilly potato leaf. Literally the leaves look like potato leaves more than tomato leaves when the plant's growing, and several varieties are like that. This one I found in the Amish store in Branson, Missouri. That's actually a good place and to get seeds, and any Amish store you find good seeds there. They tend to do heirloom varieties, and this is Seed Savers Exchange is the name of the company. So this is, I think I've grown this once before. I don't actually remember, but maybe not. But I'm going to try that one. So those are kind of my biggest slices. Then this one's, these varied a lot in size last year. This is the Beta Lux. It was a tasty tomato. It is a determinate, so you'll want to, you know, put a couple of plants in. It fruited over probably about 6 weeks, which is quite long for some determinate varieties. But I will probably replant this every, you know, 4 weeks or so, probably. So 4 weeks from now I'll set some more up. And then I have some cherry tomatoes. So this is one I did last year. It grew like crazy, so, and it tastes great. So Chadwick cherry, I mean, if it does as well this year as last year, it'll be a staple for sure. I did actually have one more big one slicer. That's the Black Beauty. That's a one I have grown only once before. It tasted good, grew pretty well. It does take a while to mature, at least it did in my garden. And then the last cherry I've got, I grew a few years back. I love these sweet little cherries, the bumblebee varieties, the sunrise, the blue cherries, blueberries, and this one was particularly sweet, and the skin is a little thinner, I think, so it's quite a nice little cherry tomato. And if you can get a hold of that, but again, Baker Creek was where I got it. So these seeds, I want to say, were packaged for 2020 or 21, so I'll probably put a few extra seeds in just to make sure we get enough plants from it. And then two that are new for me, away from tomatoes now, is the habanada. So this is a habanero, so you have that flavor, but it doesn't have the heat. So I have several friends who talk to me about, you know, I like the idea of jalapeno poppers, for example, but I just don't like hot things. So I'm growing a few of these plants, and then also the nardopino, which is the jalapeno that has no heat, so that I'm gonna, whenever I make poppers, which I love to do in the summertime, to take to potlucks and things, I'll take a tray of regular jalapeno, and I'll also do the ones with no heat for those folks that prefer them that way. So those are good options if you got people around, as people in the family, kids or whatever, that you don't want exposed to just anything too crazy hot. So those are the varieties for the first tray, and I'm going to go ahead and put those in. I'll just show you a few of the seeds going in, but the process is the same for all of them. So the first one I'm going to do is the nada pino, and be sure and make a label and stick that in the row. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these in every row. I won't need that many for me, but I may have some I can sell, or some of my friends will get some donations to their garden, which usually goes down pretty well. Now these are new seeds, so they should do just fine. I'm gonna put them in. Peppers and tomatoes, typically you're looking at about 1/4 of an inch depth, although they're very forgiving. Definitely when you're starting indoors, you've got a lot more leeway on that. So we're going to put those in. Now I will check this soil tomorrow, and if necessary I will mist that soil again if it needs it. So don't just do it just for the sake of doing it. That wouldn't be good. And I'm putting 2 in each one, and I kind of put them on. I have my own system. I put them diagonal to each other, where I can easily divide them if they both come up. That's great. I can divide them more easily. And tomatoes and peppers, you can do that and they tolerate it just fine. You can, when you go to up pot them, you can go ahead and split them at that time. So we're going to put those in. Now the other thing about moisture is if you which we will put covers on these trays, that actually gives a lot more humidity, and one of the benefits there is while you're waiting for seeds to germinate, that actually really helps to keep that surface of the soil moist. So you probably won't have to do it as long as you got a cover on, and I would definitely recommend that. Then you should be okay. So the process will be the same for all the other rows. I'm not going to bore you with watching me do that, so let me just go ahead and finish that, and then we'll continue after that. Okay guys, I'm going to run through the second tray real quick. This is nasturtium. It's a tall trailing mix. Nasturtiums do pretty well at the beginning of the season. Once it gets really hot, they do struggle for the most part, so we'll see how they do. Calendula, this one's called Strawberry Blonde. Then I also have some sage and some Genovese basil. I'm doing basil. I know that a bunch of it's going to come up volunteer, because it always does. The problem in my garden now is I have mixtures, so the basil that should be sweet, and it even looks like it should be a sweet basil, is actually kind of spicy. This one's a sweet pea. These seeds I think were for 2020, so I don't know how they'll do that. They're a little picky anyway, I think. This one's a coleus. My wife really likes coleus, so I'm going to do that one. That one's called Picasso. You you can start, now you can see these varieties. They've started putting them on the shelves or already grown more than the seeds, but where they have these like flashes of red, and there's different ones with like firework names and things like that. But they're really stunning. We've bought some before, but doing them from seed is always good. This is velvet, so it's dark. That highlights the others really well. This is just a fun one to grow, and the little yellow flowers are kind of stunning. This is toothache plant. It actually does have a numbing effect. We'll talk about that a bit more when we do garden tours, and it's out there. And there's some that I had last year that may reseed on its own, so we'll see what happens with where that was. This is an aster, and this is a lavender. Those are usually fairly easy to grow. This is bee balm, but it's a panorama red, so that's not like the regular looking bee balm, so we'll see how that one does too. I will probably put another couple of things in this tray, and we'll talk about that later. I noticed on the hot peppers a couple of them haven't done super great, so I may try doing that again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plant these, and I'll get back with you when I'm done. Well guys, we have our seeds put in 2 trays. Got a few spaces left if I decide to put something else in. And I actually did replant a couple of those peppers, the hot peppers, just because some of those did not do that well. They kind of popped up first, and probably because they were still under humidity for too long or something, some of them just didn't look good. So I've taken the opportunity while I'm planting to put some more in. Also, you can see on the seed starting station we got some more lights up here, so I haven't decided if there's anything else I want to do there. And these lights are from last year, so those need to go on that next shelf down. If you're doing this, guys, just remember too, once you get your seedlings out of the trays here, you're going to have a lot of pots or solo cups or whatever you use, so you're going to want some extra space. Don't go using all of your lights for new seeds, or you're going to be stuck for somewhere to put them all whenever it's time to move them out in a pot. So compared to the temperatures we were dealing with last week, the heat's not on right now, and it's actually higher than what I have it set for at 77.4 degrees here in the garage. So things are definitely warming up. I do look forward to showing you these seedlings in the coming weeks, and especially when we get ready to put them out. So click the notification button if you want to see when more videos are coming. Give me a like if you like the channel. If you're not already subscribed, feel free to do that too. And I will see you on the next video, but until then, bye now.